I switched out the battery and I was talking for like 3 minutes without pressing record. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a tag video, and I was tagged to do this tag by Oceana, Gotta Read 'Em All, and I will leave a link for her channel and video somewhere for you to go check out. I keep wanting to call her Oceana Gotta Catch 'Em All, or her channel Oceana Gotta Catch 'Em All, because that's her Pokemon name, and she's a Pokemon Go buddy with me, so I always really focus on saying Oceana Gotta Read 'Em All for her channel name. So Oceana tagged me into doing the books I'll probably never read tag. I'll leave the original tag down below as well as Oceana's video, so you can go and check that out and check out her channel. So they'll be linked and all up there. So for the books I'll probably never read tag, there's a couple of questions. Question number 1 is a really hyped book that you're probably never going to read. And here on BookTube, Sarah J. Maas's books, or Maas's, I don't know how her last name is said, but her books are really hyped, especially her Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I am probably never going to read those. I have heard she gets more onto the new adult and even slightly erotic. I've seen people comment by posting pictures on like Twitter and stuff, or I think somebody even left like a note or like a heads up in the YA section in a store saying this is like YA erotica. Parents heads up, because I still think parents should have a say on what they and when they allow kids to access to certain content when they're mature for that. And I've seen people put warnings on the Court of Thorns and Roses series because it can get kind of erotic. I've also seen fan art on Instagram that is borderline pornography of Court of Thorns and Roses. And I'm never going to read that book series because of that. And that kind of turned me off from the rest of her books as well, her Throne of Glass books. But I've had a couple people who read a lot of fantasy that have reviews I really respect, and they haven't really liked her writing either. So I'm just going to avoid Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses, even though it's like super hyped on BookTube. Question number 2 is a series you won't be finishing. There's a couple of series I'm not going to finish. I'm not going to finish the Snow Like Ashes trilogy. There was a complete orgy scene, or a couple of orgy scenes in the second book, as well as like people walking around stark naked. And like anyway, just content wise. The Jacoby series by William Ritter was one that I really enjoyed when it first started, but it started getting really dark for me and also veering into things that I don't really allow myself to read. So I DNF'd that series as well, which was kind of sad because I really enjoyed the first and second book of that series, but the third book got a little too much for me, so I DNF'd it. And then the Space Trilogy by C.S. Lewis, I got to the third book. I finished the first 2 books, and I cannot tell you what that trilogy is about. I've read 2 full books and half of the third book, and I have no idea what that series is about. So I'm never going to finish that. It's on my shelf, it's decorative, but I'm never going to finish it. Question number 3 is a classic you're not interested in, and the first one that pops into my mind is Moby Dick. And I think this was a lot of people's answers for this question. I think this was even Oceana's answer for this, but I'm not going to read Moby Dick. I'm not interested in some guy hunting down a whale. I've heard the gist of the story. I've seen, like, well, I haven't even watched movie adaptations. Movie adaptations of Moby Dick don't even interest me, so I'm not going to read the book. Question number 4 is any genres you're not interested in, and I've mentioned this, I am not into erotica or even romance. Like, it doesn't even have to be erotica, it's just romance that has a lot of sexual content in there, or just romance in general. I will read books with romance in them, as you can see behind me. There's lots of OTPs and shipping going on behind me, but I will not specifically reach for the romance genre, especially not the erotica genre. I am not a huge science fiction person. There's a few science fiction, you know, like YA science fiction, and definitely not horror or thriller. because I'm a chicken. And the last question is question number 5. What is a book on your shelf you'll probably never read? And for this, I chose the big Canterbury classic of Robert Louis Stevenson's 7 novels bind up. The print in this is tiny, so I don't know if I'll read this specific edition or if I'll get like smaller, like broken up books of like Treasure Island and Kidnapped. Like I probably won't even read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because it's not my thing, but it's pretty, so that's why I got it. Plus it was like 10 bucks by accident at Chapters, but I'll probably never read this edition. So that was it for the books I'll probably never read tag. So I didn't really think about tagging anybody. And I always get to the end of a tag and realized as I'm filming that I didn't come up with anybody to tag. So in my usual style, I'm not going to tag anybody, but if you would like to do this tag, please feel free to let me know if you're going to do it down below so I can go and watch your video, or let me know if you have done this tag so I can go watch your video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, Oceana, for tagging me, and as always, I'll see you next time. Bye!